pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, help this council to make the best decisions for our community. In your name we pray.
Amen.
All right. The first order of business this evening will be to appoint a recorder pro temp. Our mayor couldn't make it this evening. I'm the recorder, and the recorder takes the place of the mayor when he has to be absent. And so I would take any kind of nominations.
I'd just like to make a motion that Councilwoman Mary Hickey.
Second. I would like to make a comment that this was pre-decided before I even set Mr.
It does not invalidate.
I like that so noted for the minutes, which I'm writing.
So go ahead and give yourself a job. Is there any discussion?
No.
Comment? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
You bet. Okay.
Thank you, Mary.
So moved. Okay. Roll call, please.
Okay, Scott Murphy is absent. Susan Webster here. Elizabeth Skinner here. Mary Lynn Hickey here. Rebecca here. Greg Cheen.
Here.
David.
Okay, we have before us on the agenda the set of minutes from the February 4th, 2025 meeting, which was the last meeting. There is an issue with item 16 of the Berkeley Springs Water Works. There was a mistake that isn't corrected in this this copy that's before you, and that is that the Berkeley Springs Water Works Superintendent Mayhew will be one of the judges. That needs to be taken.
Thank you.
Motion to approve the minutes as amended.
So moved. Oh, who said that?
I said so moved, Rex said second.
Thanks.
So, all right, we'll move on to persons before council. We don't have anyone on the agenda this evening, so we'll move down to communications from mayor. This weekend is the 35th International Water Tasting. It's February the 20th through the 22nd. It's Hampton Country Inn. This is a big deal for the town of Hampton, and we of course all should go. There is the big, the exciting winners at the end. There's a lot of seminars and like that. Tom, would you like to speak to that?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, really, this is the time we really get to shine town back, because our water is the diamond. It truly is the diamond that we have here, and it's a time that we can really showcase our community, and at the same time have something that's very worthwhile, not only for the community but for the surrounding entities that are going to be coming. With me now working at Harper's Ferry, I have hopefully encouraged the mayor, Greg Vaughn, and his wife, Lynn, to be with us Saturday evening. I've encouraged Steve Sedaris, who is the mayor of Bolivar, and his significant other to be with us. Rita and I will be there. We have the new operator and her husband, and possibly two other couples that may be coming also from the Charlestown area. So the seminars are Thursday and Friday. I have not seen what they are entailing, of which would be something that could be higher and better informed with regards to. But again, Saturday evening, about 6 o'clock, the activities will really get started, and looking very forward. And I'm delighted to know that the TOB is involved and our water, and because there's nowhere else in the world that has water like the town that
Well, indeed, but we don't win because it's not polite. Totally not.
We did come in second once. Mayor.
One time, that was
Acting
years
there.
ago,
Yes,
and it
came in
was-
third place.
no, we didn't. No, we,
Yeah.
and I don't know, I keep telling them, do something. Well, you know, but, no, it's,
Four hours.
well, it's just, it's to be, like, but it is, it does showcase the town in a way that, we would get normally international,
Yes, ma'am.
international. It's like that. So it's a good event. So it's, and it looks like the weather's down. So that's, thank you. Another thing that we have coming up, well, it's in March, the Grand Castilian Bed and Breakfast. From 12 to 4 on Pratt Street is having a ribbon cutting, which would be wonderful. This is a building that's had for years and years. And it's just a wonder to see it, like this now. Pictures look great. So
They were up and operating business and contributing to the hotel motel taxes every month.
right. And my husband, he plans on going. He grew up on that, so he plans on going to town. It's insane. Really happened in that building. So that should be good, and we should support our local businesses. Go down to committees and board reports, the Bath Development Authority. Next meeting is March the 5th at 4:30. And the on-track group will be meeting on March the 13th at 4:30. And on-track just met, did you?
We did last week.
Did you? The group?
It was a smaller group, but still, lots of enthusiasm.
You know, you could people who.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward. Parks and Rec. So I don't know, the planning commission is still planning on going to Parks and Rec.
I am. So if we're jumping ahead, we're revolving along. Yeah, we had our meeting last week, our monthly meeting, mostly administrative stuff and scheduling and looking at recruiting options to make up for Dave. And then for the agenda, it is on tomorrow. I will be at the Parks and Rec meeting working comprehensive plan 2027 stuff with 3 members that are assigned to support the town. Any
You looking
questions?
for one new member? Is
I'm
that
sorry.
what,
We
is
are.
that what fills out your quorum?
Yes, ma'am.
Who were the 3 local?
Matt and I forget the other two's name.
Actually,
They don't. I mean, I don't know that any of them live.
and Melissa,
No, it's Ashley Moss now.
It is actually.
Ashley Moss,
Mhm.
yeah. Ashley, right.
And Joe.
Joe had-
You're meeting with Parks and Rec next week? Is that what you said?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
So I'm just meeting. I'm attending their meeting.
Oh, okay.
Trails, and then Rebecca, you know, anything around no peaks.
Yeah. So, we've developed a proposal based on the discussion we had last month about looking at requesting funds to complete the remediation of the depot lot around the portion of the lot that's right, what we call parcel 1A. We sent that draft to the county for their reaction on it. If they agree, then the request would be sent to West Virginia DOE. The reason that we're doing this is the town signed a voluntary remediation agreement with West Virginia DEC back in 2018. We revised it in 2020, which reduced the requirements for remediation to less fill capping. Since that time, we've remediated parcel 3, which is on the EPA grant. And we got our certificate of completion for parcel 1B, which is on the eastern side, which is remediated to industrial levels for parking and supermarket. And we've been waiting to remediate parcel 1A, which was originally part of the agreement for the trail. Construction. Nothing has happened. We've got questions from the EPA about what's going on. They didn't want to see it linger. They wanted to take care of it because that was part of the agreement. Want to see whether we can work something out with the building where we would take responsibility and do it ourselves. And then whenever they get around to figuring out what they're going to do with the trail, they can move. They have reached out to District 5 to see if they would build to do this.
Rebecca, if we would get some of that, we would, where would be the county portion? So the county has put in for a match with basically the funding.
Yeah.
Would that put at risk, you know, the money that 1.3 million that matches?
No, we would ask for the portion of the match that was going to be committed to the mediation. So it would be the county's portion and West Virginia DOH. It's
Oh.
about 900 million, I think, and they've expended some of that funding for the 30% design and then the bid documents they used when they bid out the job last year.
Okay. But it only would relate to remediation. So the-
Okay, okay.
I'm sorry.
if the portion we would get back is a portion that would only relate to the remediation. Therefore, it should put that the overall money at risk.
Correct.
So just,
We don't know where the money is or what fund it's under.
I'm pretty sure it went down some kind of system.
on the 1B part, Rebecca, so that's remediated from industrial use only at this point. Is that as much as it's going to remediate?
Well, it's gonna be under, hopefully asphalt at some point. It's got a section on it, so yeah.
Okay, it's completed, but will the usage go above industrial use? Is the question. What does industrial use mean?
Parking lot and stormwater management.
So all it can be is parking, doesn't mean we could use it. If we were at a farmer's market, or we had some kind of activity.
Yeah, it's
but-
gonna be under, it's,
Although it's industrial, it still would allow for activity by,
This will be paid.
short term activity.
just for that, so day of work. No one's
Yeah,
talking about it.
you know, the whole point of that is that you don't extend it exposure. If, however, we cap it with asphalt.
Then- So, okay, so you could have, just, I just want to clarity on this, because it's important, for everyone. So you could, at this point, if it's capped, if it's with asphalt, would it allow for, and you have an event, you want to have a 2-day event, would it allow for that event to stay up for 2 days? No, it could. So with some farmer's market or fair or some kind of,
Yeah, we wouldn't expect to have any permanent structures in that area. The portion that's left over from the stormwater management is a thin strip. And it's essentially the entrance.
and then when we get to 1A,
It'll be remediated to recreational standards.
meaning the structure.
Such as the skating rink?
Well, maybe bathrooms, because the bathrooms, right, for storage, like building equipment.
Yes.
Lauren, you want to just keep talking?
Streetscape, we expect that, First Fruits Construction will be back in town next week to finish, Wilk Street between Independence and Union. We still have the drains installed. It was too cold to put concrete, puts it back in. And we have submitted a request that funds that were not expended on Independence be used to correct the oversight of an ADA ramp and a few other details.
What's the location of the ADD?
It's where it was on the, north side. We reached out to the director of ADA compliance in West Virginia. It was in agreement, so we're just waiting to hear back from DOH. That money's we're moving our meeting, which was to take place on Thursday, because some members could be there, to Monday, February the 24th at 9 a.m.
So, the train depot, we are, the depot committee, Jim Daly, Terry Goldenbach. We're continuing discussions with travel with sponsors that we have more it is on exhibits inside the depot as possible in the building, and outside the building. So this, we have a lot of ideas what we can do. Also with making the building feel a little bit warm, a little bit sick. So it wasn't good for what it's being used for right now. And so there's some adjustments that can be made. Basically, that can work good, maintain the historic integrity, and
Reduce the revenue.
yes. Landmark Commission. We're missing two members of the Landmark Commission, and it's too late, and so we should be thinking about what we need to do in that. All right, clerks and reporters. We do have to bring this up. We do have the budget revision on this. And the budget revision is announced to $48,225. This is an increase in our budget due to some cutting of costs, a lot of hard work, making some hard decisions in order to sustain the town. So we're seeing some fruits of that. And so these increases are going to go directly into City Hall, the streets and highways department, garbage department, snow removal, street lights, and the police department. This $48,000 is going to be distributed among those departments. This is a external budget revision. It must have to be approved by the state auditor's department. So I think in your packet you will see.
Looking, Susan, we're looking at the correct one, 700. The previously approved amount,
Okay.
it's saying
Yeah.
21,257,000.
Oh, my Lord. Yeah.
The police department budget is not $21,257,000.
This is what we call tight budget.
I'm telling you.
Short.
Thank you, Greg. Yeah, we have a serious amendment there to that budget.
And our state auditors have to,
Yes, this goes to the state auditor. The resolution that we have allowing us to send this forward to the auditor's department is resolution 25-02-1. at the regular session of the municipal council held on February 18th, 2025, following meeting was made entered, and the subject of this is the revision of the levy estimate for the budget of the town of Bath. The following resolution is offered. Resolved that subject to approval of the state auditor, ex officio chief inspector of public offices, the municipal council does hereby direct the budget to be revised prior to the expenditure or obligation of funds for which no appropriation or insufficient appropriation currently exists, as shown on budget provision number 3 for fund number 1, the copy for which is entered as part of this record. This type of resolution does make a voice vote, so, or a poll vote, so that each member of council does have a vote. Mayor Murphy isn't here. I can't vote except to break the tie at this point, so I can't vote. So I ask for the vote of Elizabeth Skinner.
Yes.
Can I,
Yes.
sure.
You need to make a motion, it says here.
Yeah, motion to,
We have,
yes.
I want to make sure we have discussion.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
So
someone
let me make the motion.
You make the motion.
So I make a motion for the adoption of the foregoing resolution, having been moved by myself, and I need a second.
Okay, discussion?
Yes, I'm looking at the after the news. A little concerned that we have decreases on revenue. And I'm not sure how that math adds up to 48,000. How is it that we decreased? We made that,
Total
Right.
of the increases of all the lines,
but it's
plus the decrease. Right, the sum of the increase and the decrease.
Right, but it's a decrease on revenue. Like,
Oh, you know
follow
what?
I'm saying?
yes. There is a second page that I didn't print, I apologize. You don't have it.
All right, all right.
It's
With the detail of this
correct
cover
with
sheet.
the, yes,
Okay.
the increases the rest of the, revenue.
What's the answer?
You're missing a page in your book.
So what we're saying, Sharon, you've had the two decreases in account number 303 and account 320.
Yes,
And then when you factor in the increases for the various other accounts starting at 304, the net is a revenue gain of 48,225.
correct, there is,
Including page 2.
right, including
There
page two.
should be a page 2.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was on the back of it. You just didn't get a copy of the back side.
Anybody?
No,
All right, we have a motion and a second.
Okay, well, again, I'm looking at the numbers as well, even if I
you're
add up.
missing some of the revenue accounts on page 2. It was on the back, and when we copied it, we didn't copy the back side. They just did one side.
How many additional revenues are
I'd have to go print it. I don't know.
Can we take a moment to do that? Because I'm looking at all the increases and it's more substantial even with the decreases. So let's-
Yeah, I see what you,
And then we can solve for X and appreciate that 48,000 number. So,
There's additional places, 67.
still in discussion.
yes, we do.
You're adding expenses.
on total.
Well, we don't have it.
All revenue, just to make sure that-
Well, this needs a. So this should be.
This is,
This.
yeah.
Something else is in
This
this, right, just takes that out.
We need additional revenue.
Correct. Yes.
So we should have around 60,000.
Should we move on and do that, please?
Yeah, how about if we address this?
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut in the middle and take her just a second to print that page.
That's that first one ends it.
Thanks. Wow, look at all those columns, all those numbers in the increase column on page 2.
That's good.
Yeah, it was on the back side. I think. I didn't-
That makes sense.
All right, we looked at it.
Now it is. And then minus.
It actually is a worksheet that's on the website of the auditors, and so it won't let you continue on. if it doesn't allow.
14.9. Okay. I'm old enough to be doing nothing. That's used to be a thing. And now I'm gonna just use my calculator to take a total of 62,225 minus 14.9, and I believe. Minus 14.9. I think I'm gonna double check my math because I'm coming up 47.
I got.
Someone else, did you? All right, let's go with it.
So I'm fine on and may I ask the police department previously, is that one extra zero?
It is.
Feeling better about this?
Much better.
Okay.
Details, details.
Right, for sure.
Am I supposed to call the- Yeah.
Okay, Elizabeth Skinner,
Yes.
Rebecca McLeod.
Yes.
Mary Lynn Hickey.
Yes.
Greg Sheen,
Yes.
and David O'Connell.
Pregnant, well, yes.
Okay. All right, and thank you for your analysis and finding and checking.
Yeah.
Thank you. It wasn't a mistake, it was just that not everything. Well,
We didn't get copies yet.
yeah, there we go. So, okay, we'll sign this in. No one. All right, very nice.
Okay.
All right, okay, building permit acknowledgement, what we're doing this evening is just acknowledging, building permit for 455 Grove Street in the town of Bath. This is a gentleman who runs the Google, who is repairing his house at Bath Park Five. The other one that we're acknowledging, the use of building real property improvement, would be the Spanballers. And they are increasing the value of their property at 151 First Church Street. They are remodeling a building to use as studio apartments. So these are two real property improvements. The next thing we have is property use request at Father's Day car show. I'll be calling Mr. Easton about this. We have some questions and some concerns about it. The closing of streets and like this. And we want to acknowledge our brick and mortar businesses and their concerns about the closing of streets, particularly days, Saturdays, and like this. And this is one that close Fairfax Street. So I'm going to call Mr. Easton who submitted this application and explain that to him. Another way. it's, they have their event, which is a wonderful event. It's a Father's Day weekend. It's the commercial. And it's great. However, those in the fourth, especially the community as it tends to do in the springtime, is a problem for our business. So I'll give them a call. If anybody else wants to look at it. So then we'll go on to finance. And we do have some bills before us. We want to do that, Mary?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, we have town of Bath bills in the amount of $17,279.03. Need a motion to approve in a second.
Yeah, you're the motion. You have a second?
Second.
All right, discussion. All in favor? Opposed?
Berkeley Springs water bills in the amount of $61,336.08.
Last second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hotel motel fund distribution.
In the amount of $2,397.50.
Second.
Who was that?
Second.
Right. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Let's move on to the next thing for the table.
I typed this up, I sent it to you, Susan, so you could just cut and paste it into the minutes in the night. But we received, yesterday we received an email from Bob Hanna, who is the head of urban forestry, and he let us know that there are major funding issues with the Forestry Service. He says the U.S. Forestry Service has stopped all reimbursements to states, and we haven't received our fiscal year 24 funds that cover our grants, as well as our salaries. We had a meeting with our state forester last Thursday and have been directed to pause all grant programs. We're told we can't make reimbursements at this time. Consequently, we won't be able to make a reimbursement on your demo grant in the near future. We have at this point spent $3,670.60 out of $5,000. Fortunately, because we've had such bad weather, Mike Merchant has not been able to do the work in the cemetery that's part of that grant. I emailed him yesterday, said we're having a tree board meeting tomorrow, and in the off chance he would have done today, not to proceed at all until the tree board has met, and we will bring something before the finance committee at the next meeting. There is a $700 expenditure which had been approved by the finance committee that is not granted. And that was to remove the Tree of Heaven in the Webster edition that is causing damage to one of the stones. And there's a dead bull pine on the south side of Greenway Trail going right up the middle of the cemetery that is at risk for falling into the road. That was $700. Originally, it was going to be shared by tree board and cemetery. I believe Beth recommended for the hotel motel. Whether again, I feel like we'll need to go finance to re-discuss this issue. I would say the one tree is a considerable risk of fall. But we
Falling into the road is in the cemetery.
in the cemetery. If you go up the trail, I think it's Greenway Trail. There's there's a bull pine that was in bad shape before with all this wind and stuff is in new shape. So these are two issues that need to be addressed, but given the financial change, I think well, the tree board will make a decision as to what to do, but I'm guessing the tree board would take the issue for finance to
That's what I would
proceed.
say. Yeah, that's what.
So Bob Hanna is hopeful that once a new head of forestry is appointed, that money will start to flow to the states and grants can be reimbursed. He has no idea of when that will be, and so he asked for patience for the town of Bath, and I'm sure many other municipalities that are covered with.
Okay, thank you.
Have we gotten any reimbursements from the first Department of US
Not,
Forestry
not
Service?
for the 2020, I guess it's 2025 yet, no, because we weren't finished, and we usually make a report that includes all of our expenditures as well as our net.
Understood.
We still do need to, of course, file a report. It will be an interim report, because I'm not gonna go ahead and spend the other money. But we won't be reimbursed.
The 2024 grant was complete
Yes,
and we received all the
yes,
reimbursements for that.
yes,
So it's the 25
yes.
and we have expended about 3,000.
670 dollars.
and 66 cents. And of course, it was an issue as to, well, we have not received an invitation to create a grant for fiscal year 2026.
$700 to was approved by the finance committee.
Yeah.
Full-time employees.
Yeah, so we get that paid.
It hasn't, nothing has happened.
Oh.
Mike Merchant
It's
has
just
not.
those 2 trees.
Okay, so, but we will cover that, it sounds like, if that's enough to cover it.
It's already,
It's been approved.
700.
I'm talking about apples and oranges.
Okay, that's where you're right.
But-
So, worst case came, because the grant was like 12,000.
No, the grant was $5,000.
Well, Sharon explained it was the match for like your labor. That they
It's a
actually,
50-50 match, so we have to come up with $5,000.
right,
And we do that through in-kind. We have some
Right.
contributions, for example, Berkeley Springs Pride gave a check, I think $113 to cover the discrepancy.
oh, that's
between-
right, okay,
There are
okay.
funds currently in the tree that we can cover.
Well, what I'm saying is, in terms of out-of-pocket money, you could find a way to figure out covering $3,670. And at the direction of your contact, you are ceasing spending from this point forward until,
So he didn't say that, but I think that's just common sense.
yeah,
Mhm.
until you know that the fund flows again. Okay, thank you.
And last year, we did not spend all of our money. Several things came in under budget. And he wrote back to say, if you have any other things that the tree board did, please submit to this bill so you can get the full amount that you were awarded. So we've taken down the tree on Wilk Street. Although it was initially a tree board expense, it wasn't mentioned in the grant application. That was paid for by the state. So, well, who knows what will happen in the future, but it is possible that since we have not received the full amount, that we will be given permission to go ahead and spend it with the assurances that we will.
okay, on the Webster edition, that tree of heaven, are we still going forward with that?
Well,
Because
the council has approved it.
it's
um,
been approved, right?
Let's go to them.
So we are going forward. Is that correct?
That's the council's decision.
Yeah, there's no reason why.
Yeah.
That's.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Grant.
Okay, well, I want to follow up on what Kate's starting to talk about because the implications across the board for grants are, I'm an optimist and I feel like, this is a moment in time, not the rest of time. But my contact at the West Virginia Grant Resource Center told me she worked on a grant for 3 months and did it. Region 9 is feeling this as well. There aren't too many grants. Well, there are. I mean, there's some grants that start and end with the state, but in most cases, it is federal money coming through the states and some combination in the portfolio of proportion there. Yeah, this is just a reality that we're negotiating now, and I don't know how long this is going to be the case, but it is now. We haven't gotten around to spending COPS grant money yet because we are just hired our second officer, and we need him to be on board before we pursue recruitment of and then subsidy of the third position. And then for the other things that we're applying for, frankly, I am making a bit of a pivot with private foundations. Full disclosure, I mean, everyone in this room knows I'm also the president of the Back Civic Trust. There's things that the town can't apply for, but a nonprofit can, that we can then use for the town. So just trying to be strategic in our approach to still be effective and bring grant funds in. But at the moment, we're waiting to hear about the police computers. I am submitting the one for, and have a list of questions for Rick and Dave for the cyber grant for the water department, cybersecurity. And I don't know whether that might involve more than state. It is a state, it's the State Department of Health. So I don't know what their funding mix is for that grant, but I guess we're gonna find out. And then continuing to look for street cameras and traffic calming signs, working with Region 9 on that one, plus the West Virginia Grant Resource Center. And then also just want to mention that the next meeting of Region 9 is going to be here in Thornton County on March 24th. They have, it's still saying to be determined, it's usually at the country room. So we'll figure that out. But while they're here, if you can attend, you know, they provide lunch and talk about their funding priorities. And that is coming up on March 24th. It's usually lunch. They firmed it up, isn't firmed up the location. So that's essentially it for grants.
And it's good for Morgan County to have a good showing.
You bet.
Region 9 does come to Morgan County
Once a year.
Yeah, and sometimes they have state law, sometimes the country in, and like that. But it is good to get to meet other leaders, you know, seats as we have, that are throughout this campaign. It's good to meet these people and see their problems. You learn a lot just talking with people. With their states of their town too. So I would say if we can find out,
I surely will.
and we should be there close.
For sure. It's March 24th at noon. My best guess right now is country inn. But
State Park, they can be there.
yeah, it might be too. Oh, in the lodge. Okay,
No
yep, here it is.
No picnics.
I was gonna say,
They're not going to book.
No. Okay, all right. We'll put the date and time on the calendar and location to be announced.
Okay.
The end.
All right, thank you. Cemetery.
Just get the conversation.
I did. Hey, jeez. Thank you. Yeah, public safety.
I have nothing to report.
No. Is that what you said?
We have made a new hire. We feel that this is an excellent candidate. Understands the expectations for the town. He does have to attend the academy for the probationary period after graduates from the academy in 6 months. He should be coming on board in the next week or so. That's
Early March.
going. It's late, yeah, it's just gonna get 2 week notice and currently serves, Berkeley County,
Animal control.
out of control. We're very excited.
I'm excited because of the feral cat situation. Okay. And if there's an animal control now, they can do something about that, especially because we have feral cat.
Greg, when he goes to the academy, does that mean he's not like going to class and sometimes on the street?
No,
He's
he
just
will
like
be at-
strictly at the academy.
It will be at the
Got
academy. Process. It's a challenging academy.
It is.
Will he start and go straight to the academy? Is that what's happening?
He's gonna work the same schedule when he,
Yeah.
until he can
Uh,
and then after that,
now, what he'll be able to do is come home on Friday evening and go back on Sunday. I have seen students work over that period of time. But you know, if you want to do that. But we're paying them full time, and we also paying full time wage. So I have seen them do that. It's not, it's a hard school. It's not, it's very physical.
It is challenging, there's no doubt about it. And we're lucky to have such a good faculty qualified out.
Mhm.
We know that when like here in the municipalities are really struggling, recruitment, county is struggling at recruitment. We're in a pretty good position to kind of.
is there an agreement if after the academy, they leave? Stay with
There's nothing enforceable.
Legally, we can't
and
create situation.
And I will. That's tuition, that's not, transportation, yeah.
Where is it?
It's in the Institute of West Virginia, which is Charleston.
what's the rest of it? And
Well, it's regular wage, and the travel, plus the travel. Yeah.
Does he pay for his own, like?
We're there.
It's a
They have dormitory.
Oh, okay, so that's not a cost.
It's
It's his
probably at the range.
Transportation back and forth. Do they feed him?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they feel, yeah, they
It's
do
all
that.
within.
Oh, so meals and lodging.
Yes,
but we're
yes.
paying mileage, 70 cents a month.
No,
we
no
take
tech.
one of our.
Our gas is easy.
Unfortunately, this is the cost of doing business in the 21st century is a place of policing. There's really no way you can avoid this. We can't compete with Morgan County. It's offering $10,000 signing bonus if you're going to any certification. It's just challenging. This is one way to solve the issue.
Seems to me it'd be a good opportunity.
It is.
It's a calculated risk for sure, but we're not really in a position not to take it.
We're not, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We're not going to knock our doors down. Sad.
Is there anything else?
That's the only thing we have.
That's it? Okay. Cemetery,
You all have probably seen the application that I submitted with the cemetery corporation, help with beautification, Greenway Cemetery, putting grass. I also, we have produced a flyer and poster again to make it shine this year. I applied for Greenway Cemetery. We part of that program, and Brianna applied for the town app. So we will be doing it again for Saturday, April, the following Saturday, April 5th and 12th. And we have been in contact for the last 2 weeks on a very regular basis with the Civil War Trail Organization and signed for General Simon Barstow's gravesite. He was the only general in the cemetery. Will be done shortly, and we will start with the advertising the creation of the sign, work in the installation and public ceremony. This will become part of the City Trail organization's trail throughout the Civil War sites. And then that they will do a lot of tours, advertising among tourist organizations such as Union Foundation, Union History Foundation, excuse me, and other groups try and get people to see the site and hopefully they'll be in town, stay here. Visit the places.
Well, what I hope too, it inspires people to donate funds to the cemetery. Because we have this, Civil War general there. Because people do to do it. Something else I'd like to mention with that is make it shine. I would like, a couple of members of council know the cemetery. If you do it like this, there's nothing like picking up trash and bringing a cemetery to appreciate how difficult this is to maintain, to mow, to put there. It looks nice when you drive by, and you actually go. It's not easy. So it gives you appreciation. Plus, it's good. And it's good.
It's a statue or a memorial to General Person.
It would be an education sign.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
He's a merit civil district. And Justin Gettysburg, they generate $61 million. So about Gettysburg, they employ almost 1,000 people in the town of Gettysburg. So to be able to share General Barstow's story, but also to be able to share the fact that Stonewall Jackson is here in Bath with Babs, the Shenandoah campaign. Those things are really critical pieces of the history that should be brought forward, and they can really add that level of interest in the American civil.
And
And
then
there's a deeper dive.
this is the first educational sign I'm working with Gary Golden from the County Historic and Genealogical Society to identify other soldiers from other wars, and we hope to develop basically a trail, a tour through Greenway Cemetery related to the history of the Civil War, as well as other important historical tours and activities, people that are buried in Greenway. So this is the first step to it. So, right? Yeah.
That you can check. You have a date for
It's first Saturday in April. April 5th. It's brand new April. And it's from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And the Greenway Secretary, John and I, we were going to do it this week, but it's too cold. We post signs in the schools around here, in stores and businesses. And the Greenway Cemetery is a great location for children because it's away from traffic. And they actually do a great job. Appreciate it. That's like 4-H and the kids that
They're
come out.
closer to the living also. They're closer.
It's closest.
Yeah.
A lot. Well, but they
It's the flowers.
spread the flowers that go off graves, and some fans once in a while, but it really makes a big difference in helping us get things ready for the mowing in the spring. Our contractors actually complained we didn't have much time for the rain. And so it really does, the work that has to be done. in this. So
just
everyone's welcome to come help.
just a point to note that good that there are 2 different days. Warm Springs Watershed Association is with a shine their effort, and their effort is probably to be on the 11th and 12th. Something I believe that it is. Oh,
Great, because then we will be cannibalizing each other's volunteers.
we end up having an awful lot of overlap
Right.
between the two organizations.
All right, let's move on. That's all for cemetery.
Yes.
Public Works.
Fox Club has their contractor picking up bricks. They start or after completed from the finished brick walkway that was done last year down to Marshall Street. And thanks to the it's all the bricks are safe. It's all.
Okay, ordinance.
Ordinance, next meeting is actually it's Thursday at 4 p.m. We are kind of resetting our goals and objectives for the rest of this year, focusing on tourism mainly, the local economy certainly, and also transportation in the town of Bath as well as Morgan County, working collaboration with our partners at the county commission, and quite a few things to report on those meetings.
Waterworks.
Waterworks, well, first off, we're going to thank Tom for talking about the water tasting event this weekend, so we don't have to say much. Thank you. Second thing I want to report on is our effort to bring the engineering firm to be able to do the we had 7 firms send in their statement of qualification, so we're actually quite pleased with the amount of attention we got. And we did quite a bit of work over the last weekend there. And Susan was sighing because she was one of the new jet nuclear evaluators. So we evaluated the 7. We met this past week, and we now have a short list for 3 firms that we're going to do interviews on. So we're making those arrangements now for next week. And one of them actually wants to meet with us in person. So we've got probably 2 Zooms, maybe a lot of those might be in person, but I'm sure the in person is better. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the U.S. Silica line. So the last time we met, I said we were going to have a shut-off test to find out about the fire hydrant up there. And this actually was very useful to do the test because we got a little bit of a surprise that I was suspicious of. And that looks like that line, actually, the line, I'd say line, I mean, but it's probably a medium line, going all the way up to the fire hydrant. This is actually extremely good news. It may mean that we don't have a concern about doing a line of construction. We may have to do, well, we still have a rat's nest that around where silica ties into everything. But it looks like we have a line that goes all the way up to the fire hydrant where we were shutting off the line, where they thought was their only shut-off valve. No, it never shut off the fire hydrant. And the only way to shut off the fire hydrant was the shut-off valve that was right next to the fire hydrant. It's also an additional surprise, and it gave me some background, and Tom, I'm sure you might be able to fill in some gaps here, is that the STS building seems to be tied right into the fire hydrants. In all these years, whenever they've shut off the system, they never once checked the STS building. So apparently, that's a federal renter, and
It's a private.
is it private?
Yes.
They get
What?
federal.
They get federal grants. Okay. That-
Projects.
They have a lot of water suppression there, and I've got a feeling that that was tied to when that whole system was put up, that whole line. Whatever they're doing for that one single building is kind of a shock to me in terms of the amount of line that they have in terms of just the water suppression. So I got a feeling that may have been the motivation back in the 1990s. You happen to know when that STS building was built?
It wasn't STS.
It was something else.
Yeah,
That was part of the city.
But whatever it was, that seems to have been why they tied that building in differently than they tied in their headquarters was just that whatever kind of connection that this is already how it's. But the bottom line for us is if we can prove that it is actually an 8-inch line over there to the fire hydrant, that brings that line all the way up through there. Most of the work would be disconnecting the rat's nest and working with that 8-inch line to get everything set up that way. Does mean that we would still want to set up for silica further up past that fire hydrant. That would be the desired outcome. But that's a much smaller project than where we were at right now. So that may be very good news. Obviously, we still want to wait on the engineering report to assess what is the cost of bringing up to code